5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I should overcome, what for? Train in the trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no challenge for champions and chain no fear. Yeah, the championship.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another amazing edition of Paleocrat Diaries. I'm your host, Jeremiah Bannister. I wish that I could say that it was an amazing day. Well, it still is, okay? It's still an amazing day to be alive. It always is, right? It's another day that the Lord has made, and we're all here together. You're tuned in to the best show airing at this time on these channels. Okay, without a doubt, the very best show at this time on these channels. You're tuned in, okay? We've got a bunch of great news for you. Of course, we're going to talk election news. Obviously, we're going to talk about some of the craziness going on with the violent left. We're going to talk about corona chaos and some of that. And, of course, funny news. But I have to begin, and in fact, I wasn't planning on beginning with this, but I'm gonna, because I've had a rough morning. I have had a rough morning. It's been difficult, right? It's made a little bit easier by all of you in the comments section. Okay, so before I tell you about this crazy morning, I want to thank everybody who's tuned in the comments, including Mr. Derek Cornwall. Love the shirt. Dude, yes, man. This is my SpongeBob I'm Ready shirt. Employee of the Month. It says Employee of the Month on the back, I believe. And on the front, it's got SpongeBob and Krusty Krab over here. And I love the black and yellow, man. Absolutely love it. So definitely, all the people in the comment sections, you may be watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter. Doesn't matter where you are. Maybe even D-Live. I guess we're on D-Live. So I'm all over the place. Wherever you are, if you comment, I see the comments. It all goes into this magical pool, right, of comments. This awesome mega feed. It's like the Megazord of all the different comment sections. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like Voltron. It all comes together and creates this Megazord for the wizard behind the curtain. So I can see CF Hewling. Good morning. Hey, thank you for the comment, by the way, CF, on the Jaws video, as well as some of the other videos. Definitely appreciate that. Over at Paleo Cheese. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you got to check it out. And you would know if you go to, let's get that banner up right now, paleocratdiaries.com. For all of you who are subscribed, you may have noticed that yesterday was a major time info dump day. Okay. I think there was like 5 different posts because I'd been backed up. You know, you got it. When you're that backed up, it's a big dump. So it's what happened. It's what happened, man. A really big info dump on you guys. I think it was like 5 posts. I think it was three episodes of the show. So every show throughout this week so far, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday's show, I think, as well as the meaning of Catholic debate. It really wasn't a debate. It was more like a rapid fire Q&A for the reasons to vote for Donald Trump. And I was that guy. I was the MAGA man. So I have that on there. And then I have the most recent edition of Paleo Cheese where we debate. We kind of nerd out, right? We kind of nerd out a little bit. And we end up having this really interesting debate. And you may disagree. You may agree. You may disagree. I don't know. But about games like euchre and games like, RPGs, stuff like that. And my criticisms, right? I'm kind of one of those guys. But I have a nuanced take. I'd like to think I have a nuanced take. So all of that happened yesterday. So you would know all of that if you would go real quickly. In fact, open up just another tab. Let this play in the background. It's good. It's good background music for you and all of your friends and coworkers and classmates. But, make sure to check that out. Paleocratdiaries.com. Okay, listen. Here's the deal. So this morning, I normally wake up and have, kind of a traditional day. I normally like to wake up and drink some coffee. I like to eat some food, get my eggs in and my cheese and my meats the first time throughout the day. So I normally like to do that. Maybe before that, do some Wim Hof breathing exercises. If I have time, take my cold shower before the show. right? Get me pumped up and energized for the program. Make sure that I've got my coffee lined up and that Allie's got everything totally set up in the upper portion of Castle Paleocrat today, of course. Made sure to have that I have my my superhero mug with the straw and even a big glass of water with the straw because I'm going to need it. But I normally do all those things. Okay, normally it's kind of a pattern for me. But today, my son Ambrose, he had an endocrinologist appointment at Helen DeVos Children's Hospital. And I need to say this first. I love Helen DeVos Children's Hospital. I am very grateful that we have Helen DeVos Children's Hospital in Grand Rapids. It was a big deal for us when my daughter was going through everything she went through with childhood brain cancer. An amazing institution, amazing people. Not perfect, okay? There's issues at times with them. And today was one of those days. Because what happened, Ambrose had an endocrinologist appointment, so he goes, and Allie brings the boys. She brings Lucian, right? He's, 20 months old, 21 months old, born right in the hospital connected to that, by the way, in Butterworth. And then, of course, Wolfgang, little Wolfgang, 1 month old, also born in the hospital 1 month ago, that's connected there. So she shows up. She shows up for this appointment. And what ends up happening? They tell her at the desk, we're very sorry. We're not going to be able to see you today. You got to get out of here. Why? Oh, that's right. Because of COVID. And what about COVID? Does she have COVID? No, they're not doing any tests. Not on her. Oh, on the kids? Nope, no tests on that. They have this rule inside there that says that you're only allowed to have one visitor. That's not a visitor. The babies are not visitors. The mother the guardian is not a visitor. What's wrong with these people? And worse than that, this is what really makes me mad. They didn't tell us ahead of time. There was no contact ahead of time that said, oh, by the way, you're going to need to get a babysitter. Or, oh, you need to go and have your kid in some kind of daycare. And by the way, did they ever think not only how this would affect people, how would this affect people during a situation that's in a chaotic moment with all of these insane lockdown measures? What the heck, man? What's wrong with you people? Seriously, what's wrong with you? Wait, imagine that she's a single mother. Imagine that she's a poor single mother. Wow. You guys are not very forward thinking. You are not very forward thinking. And oh, by the way, you're afraid that kids are vectors. So which just to let you know is hogwash nonsense. Oh, I need that. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. For today, look what Allie brought me. I have a lot of coffee, folks, because this is off the chain.
By the way.
Yes.
Lucian got on the tablet and recorded your
Oh, no. Oh, no.
What he did.
My show's been reported, guys. I'm sorry if you can't see it. Apparently, Lucian got a hold of the iPad upstairs and was pushing buttons and reported the show. Did you unreport it?
I don't know how.
Oh, she doesn't know how.
It's
Oh,
on the tablet.
no. I haven't even gotten started, guys. Oh, pray for me. They're on to me now, guys. Oh, my son, he sabotaged me. Oh, got to teach that little bugger how to read. Gotta do it. Man, I'm serious. But what's wrong with these people? They're like, oh, yeah, we're really nervous about kids being super spreaders, so why don't you send them to a place where they're around a bunch of other kids? Does that make sense to you? I called him up and said, yo, homie, you're going to pay me money. Why would we do that? Oh, let me tell you, because you took time out of our day. You took time where we had to drive there, wear and tear on the car, some gas mileage. Why don't you break out a calculator and we'll figure that one out too? And on top of that, the mere inconvenience of going and being told that because of the children that we have, that you've classified somehow magically as visitors, that we aren't allowed to even go see for the checkup. And on top of it, we had to take our son out of school, a school that we pay for, a school that we have to drive to go bring the kids to school. So we didn't have a bus. We had to drive to bring them to school, bring him back home, bring him to the hospital, bring him to school. Why were you gone? Oh, so I could be told by a bunch of weirdos that I can't even be at my appointment because my mother and my brothers are visitors. Does this crap drive you nuts, by the way? Does this drive you bonkers? It drives me bonkers. And you know what? Here's the thing. We make a sacrifice. I told her, I said, look, I'm talking about you on the show. Share this. Share this far and wide, guys. I'm grateful, by the way. I stumbled yesterday. Somebody followed me on Twitter. And I said, oh, who's this person? I go. And man, every day, boom, 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 boom. She's sharing my YouTube stuff on Twitter. Said, this is where I'm getting my news from nowadays. I said, yes, yeah. Obviously a very intelligent lady with good taste, by the way. But share it. Because, look, there's no way that I'm the only person. There's no way that I'm the only dad just literally on fire right now. Furious. Oh, so on top of it, we're going to need to get a babysitter for our newborn. Technically speaking, that's the 1-month-old too. Oh, you have a 1-month-old? You have a newborn baby? We're sorry. There's no doctor's appointments for your other children. How stupid are you people? I'm so sorry to say this, man. And it's not the people at the desk, the everyday folks, the ones who answer the phones and all that. You guys don't make these decisions. You might even think that it's super, super dumb and that all the people at the top, this mysterious gaggle of people making the decisions for everybody else, maybe you think that they're as dumb as I do. And for that, look, I give you an indulgence on this. Right? I can afford that. I can afford that one. But those schemy higher-ups, heck no, man. Sound like Donkey Kong, brother. Man, they messed with the wrong dad. They messed with the wrong daddy. Good morning. Good morning. Thursday morning. Yeah. Oh, man. Phew, buddy. Do you love this? I do. I do. And look, as I said, I like this not just because I get to laugh and everything else, but because, to be honest, it's kind of one of those things where I can vent. I wasn't nearly as angry at the lady on the phone. I was firm. I was firm. I was not budging. She was very confused as to this whole thing. And I'm like, no, you will pay us money. You can't, there's no way that you can not inform us of this decision and wait until we drive and wait for that inconvenience and wait for that time out of school to be embarrassed, by the way, in the waiting room and to be told, sorry, you got to head out of here. You can't, you're not going to be seen today because we're all super scared for no reason. Burn some sage, why don't you? Burn some sage. Oh, let's put salt all around the doors, weirdos. You are going to pay me some money. You are going to reimburse Team Tiny Dancer. That's just the way that goes, folks. The way it goes. Holy Faith Media, you're on fire today. Love it. Dude, yes, man. This is a weird situation because I'm actually on fire right out of the gate. Normally, I got to kind of hold it in, you know what I'm saying? Because we got funny stories. We got to deal with the funny stuff, dude. We got to deal with the funny stuff. And the comments, this COVID nonsense needs to stop. Yes, dude. People need to stop. And in part, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and just show this right now. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find this, man. This is a serious story. Okay? There's a serious story. Man, it's going to be hard. I'm going to have to find this thing. Because basically what it is there was oh my gosh. there was a situation that we have found out now that the lockdown measures in New York, we'll just talk about it later. I won't even talk about it right now. The lockdown measures in New York are not even really based on science. We knew that. But at least it's been something that finally Cuomo admits is real. He admits, and it's on audio, guys. You can hear it. It's amazing. Man, I gotta find this. He admits that it's based on fear. Oh, right here. Let's just drag that all the way to the beginning. We're gonna go right now. And then right after that, we're gonna go to funny stuff, guys. We're gonna go to funny stuff. You gotta do it. We gotta do it. All right, transition. Look at this. Killer Cuomo admits in call with Jewish leaders, coronavirus, quote, initiatives are not based on science, but are based out of fear. Do I have this lined up? It's not very long. Let's go ahead and just listen to this. Let's see.
Rabbi, I'll ask, let me make comment and let us Dr. Zucker. I don't disagree with you. And look, I'm 100% frank and candid.
Okay, so he's admitting, I'm 100% frank and candid. What he's about to admit means that for a long time, he has not been frank and candid. He's been a public liar. Of course, we all know that. We all know that.
This is not a highly nuanced, sophisticated response. This is a fear-driven response. You know, this is not a policy being written by a scalpel. This is a
Do you hear that? Do you hear that one more time?
policy being cut.
Let's see if we can rewind that better. Just a little bit.
The policy being responded, really nuanced. This is not a highly nuanced, sophisticated response.
It's not a highly nuanced and sophisticated response. Well, it sure as heck seems sophisticated to all of us. To all of us under your thumb. Under the thumb of tyrant governors all across the nation. And what's true of him? Do you think that what's true of him in New York is not true of Whitmer in Lansing? They are exposed! Exposed!
This is a fear-driven response.
No, it's a fear-driven response. Oh, yeah. So when we talk about the healthcare workers, the frontline heroes, and all that stuff, and we're confused because we watch these videos where people are going through hospitals and showing that they are barren, completely empty, and being told, oh, how dare you do that? And Twitter censors the hashtag, deprioritizes the videos, tries to hide them buggers. And we're assured this is based on the science. Liars, men. Brazen liars. Am I being frank enough for you?
You know, this is not a policy being written by a scalpel. This is a policy being cut by a hatchet.
Isn't that weird that he uses that phrase, scalpel and a hatchet? So much of this, man, this is medical. We're talking medical science. I think that's where we use a scalpel. That's why you can't believe it. When these people sit there and they lie to you. They lie to you. They judge you. They diminish you. They threaten you. They take away your freedoms and your rights. Fight back. It's time we literally rise up right now. I've had it. It's done. It's done. It's over.
It's just a very blunt. I didn't propose this, you know. It was proposed by the mayor.
I didn't. Oh, it might be true. But look at how he's distancing himself. He knows this is crap. He knows it, man.
In the city, I'm trying to sharpen it and make it better, but it's out of fear. People see the numbers going up.
Look at that.
Close everything.
People see the numbers up, close everything. Which means when he did that, and every time he would get up and he'd play, presidential standing there at the microphone. Every time that Whitmer gets up at the microphone and is trying to explain why, for the sake of the frontline heroes, that she's shutting everything down and she's attacking people who are protesting, accusing them of being super spreader places, super spreader moments, and accusing them of racism, by the way, remember that? Oh, these people, they must just really hate blacks. What? What are you talking about? They really don't like black people. They really don't like minorities and marginalized groups. That's why they're out there protesting in their cars, because, they, I guess, want to work or something. What? That whole time, fear. The fear of the masses. The fear of large groups of people who see the numbers and are spooked. And you think that we can't be manipulated by polling? Are you nuts? You think we're not manipulated by mass media? You're crazy town. They see the numbers and they're scared. Why didn't you break that down, Governor Cuomo? Why didn't you break down those numbers then? We do it on this show. It is not hard. Why didn't you break it down? If people go, wow, the number of cases has really gone up. Why don't you go, wait, hold on. That's true, but that just means cases we've identified. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily new. They may have, in fact, had it. It may not be, and it's not always because people are just rushing to the hospital with symptoms. Sometimes it's like my buddy who wants to go to an event, and that event requires everybody to go get a test. Which, by the way, I won't say his name, won't say what the event is, don't want to give too many details away. But the truth is, he's afraid to do it because if they find out that he has had it and it shows up as a new case, he wonders what would happen to me. He wonders. Rightly so. But people see these numbers. They see the numbers and they get scared. So what do? You play pretend at a microphone and you destroy the economy. That's all. You just ruin people's lives.
Blows everything. It's not the best way to do it, but it is a fear-driven response. The virus scares people.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we get the numbers down in the zip codes.
So he's saying that, look, he's admitting it's a fear-driven response, that this is a hatchet job, that it's not, when he's saying fear-driven, you can be afraid of something that's actually scientific, right? You can say, well, man, there's an asteroid coming toward our planet. That's kind of a little bit creepy, right? You can say that. But if you're saying that this response, people are just seeing numbers and going, blah, and they're super scared of everything, and that you're responding to that, and you're playing into that saying, we just need those numbers to go down. So you're basing it off of something that you're already admitting is insufficient. You're playing the hatchet game because other people are playing with a hatchet. And you're not going, dude, slow down, guys. Whipping that hatchet all over the place is not only unnecessary, it's freaking dangerous.
Anxiety comes down, and then we can have a smarter, more tailored approach. Your point is right. Why close every school? Why don't you test the schools and close the ones that have a problem?
Look, hey, that's kind of, I said this recently, they were talking, Whitmer's talking about, oh my gosh, look at the cases that are rising up in the UP. And I'm like, well, then why don't you quarantine part of the UP? Like, and in fact, that actually stays true with the concept of quarantine, by the way. It makes a distinction between quarantine and the house arrest that everybody has been experiencing for a long time, that they, in a weird way of newspeak, use the word quarantine. And people go, oh, that's what's happening. No, that's not what's happening. What's happening is you are under house arrest. Period, dude. That's just what it is. Sorry to tell you that, guys. But that's the deal. That is the deal. That's what we're experiencing. So when my wife called me and told me that about the hospital, furious, man. furious. They messed with the wrong people. they don't know, man. They might think, well, why don't you go back home and do your quiet thing, just melting your brain on some Amazon Prime or on Facebook. And we're like, dude, what do we do when we get home? We do this. We get the message out. And you just had a bad news day. Good luck. Get back with me. Can't wait to hear from you. You owe me money. All right. Now, on to happier things, by the way. Let's do this. All right. And remember, if you want to share any of this great news, happy, fun news, or the terrifying news, right? The weird and all of that, you got to make sure to share it with us at paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. And if you love this show, and I know you do, you got to make sure to go to paleocratdiaries.com. We have a subscription, a way you can subscribe to keep up to date with all of the things that we're doing, as well as to become a member. And remember, 100% of the membership costs help to offset the sacrifice that we've made, right? Because we've made a big sacrifice sending our kids to a private Catholic school. It's a classical education curriculum. It's an amazing school. And I've shared a couple things in the past regarding things that my children have done and things like that, but I've got a lot more. I'm going to be sharing even some of the poetry recitation, the art, sporting events, stuff like that. So you can, of course, the uniforms. The uniforms are amazing. And the concepts of discipline that they have. And of boys and girls and stuff like that. Very, very, very good. In fact, if I remember, and I have a bad memory, right, on some stuff, because especially in the moment yesterday, I forgot to share the meme that my wife made. I promoted it like the whole show, talking about, man, we got this awesome meme, woo! And then ends up happening, you go, oh, yeah, I forgot to share that. But we're going to do all those things. You can find all that, of course, everything at paleocratdiaries.com. All right, Wareham residents. Where's Wareham? Oh, Boston, okay. Asked to stop calling police for sunfish sightings. Quote, it's doing normal sunfish activities. All right, let's go ahead and hear this. This is breaking news.
Residents are being asked to stop calling police about an odd-looking fish in Broad Cove. Police say they already know all about it. It's called a sunfish, and although it can sometimes be confused for a shark, it is just a harmless fish.
Confused for a shark? Who's confusing that for sharks? They're swimming underwater and they see them little buggers. They're like, oh my gosh, I think we got sharks. No.
The department wrote on its Facebook page in all caps, please stop calling the police department about this sunfish.
Now, here's the thing, guys. I would normally make fun of that, right? Like these guys. I would normally make fun. Like I'm going to do with them. There's a beef, man, between me and these guys. But I would normally make fun of the people calling about the sunfish and freaking out. And apparently there's a lot of people. They're all very, very worried. And have you guys seen sunfish that look like that? I mean, I grew up on a lake in Battle Creek, and we used to go fishing all the time. I've caught a bunch of sunfish. They didn't look like that. Them buggers looked like they had fins like on the very, very, very back of their bodies. Very, very strange looking. So maybe different kind. Maybe what oceanic, right? I don't know. What would be the difference? But this is the fallout, though, of what happens when there is an animal uprising, and we here at the show bring a greater awareness to the fact that the animals are on the loose. They're out of control. And so when we bring people's attention, right, and we say, look, you got to pay attention, folks. If you see, an emu walking down the street, if you see raccoons attacking fake news, which is on the plus side of there will be a resistance. And they're with us. They are with us. But when you see these things, bears on top of cars, buffalo walking down the streets, crabs, going to parties, asking for packs of smokes. When you see that, you are going to have this is the overreaction. Okay, so there's a legitimate reaction, kind of like coronavirus. There's a legitimate reaction, and then there's cuckoo crazy pants calling because of the sunfish. Don't do that, guys. So let your friends know. Anybody who's paying attention, say, look, if you want, keep your emotions in check. Make sure the best way to do that, tune in to Paleocrat Diaries every single weekday, 10 to noon. BTS, break their own record for the most viewed online concert ever with, quote, Map of the Soul. Is it one or on E? What the heck? Now, these guys, I should have brought this down. In fact, Allie, if you're listening right now, here, let me see. I've got this. Let me make sure I got it here. Yo, Allie. You got this, Allie? I'm not hearing her. She's not tuned in, man. Let me down, girl. Look, if she hears me, she's way up. I mean, there's maybe a delay. I'm in the dungeon right at Castle Paleocrat. She's way up in the towers. And so, you know, the thing is in the penthouse suites. If she hears me, she's got to bring down that calendar. Because here's the deal, man. Oh, you got me? Yeah, okay. She said she got me. Yeah, bring down that BTS calendar. Okay. So, here's the thing. Yeah, she got me all right. So, this band, I kind of got a thing, man, with this. You know, I'm really divided because my wife, you know, her mother was born and raised in South Korea. And so there's kind of this ethnic dynamic going on. You know, my wife wasn't raised to speak Korean. They didn't really cook a lot of Korean food. They didn't go to any kind of like Korean church growing up. They really just were just Americana, right? They were just full-blown American. Dyed in the wool. Card-carrying bona fide Americans. And so, you know, but as she got older, it became one of these things. Okay, yeah, here you go. You want to bring it over here? No. Let me see it. Yeah, so where she's wanted to, you know, learn more about her heritage and, you know, the background of everything. Oh, this is terrible. So here's the thing. I don't know if you guys can see this. Okay. Oh, yeah, you can see that. So right here is a calendar. This is 2020. Now, I'm hoping that she didn't, you know, go and get a 2021 calendar, but it's BTS. And it's some of the, I mean, look at this, guys. I think this is actually what was up when I first noticed it. I mean, look at this. Dudes, have you ever been in a group of guys where you're doing that? And where the rest of them weren't ladies? I don't know about that. I don't know about that, man. I gotta find, there's one specifically in this, this right here. Look at this, guys. This is just not even right. Look at this. And ladies are fawning over that. You know, then again, they're, you know, I don't know if I really trust what goes on over there. That, you know, they were fawning over that one gorilla. You remember that? Fawning over that. They were taking pictures. Oh my gosh, look how sexy he is. Now, in fairness, he was a handsome gorilla. Okay, that is true. But these guys, you know, look, they're good-looking guys. Okay, but dude, they're kind of like in a situation that is a little bit close, a little bit, you know, a little bit limp at the wrist. So here's the thing. Is that apparently they had 993,000 live viewers. That's unbelievable. For this concert, 993,000 live viewers. People, it's weird because, you know, in the United States, a lot of people might be like, well, you know, who's BTS? Who is that? You know what I mean? They have no clue. These guys, and they'll be like, you know, it's like the Asian NSYNC or something, you know. These are the Backstreet Boys from Koreatown. You know, you don't know. And you think, oh, well, you know, these guys are chumps. Oh, no, they are not. No, they are not. They are actually maybe the largest band in the world. In fact, it sure as heck seems so. Mega money. Mega fame. Travels all over the place. And you got to remember, man, these K-pop stans, these are the ones that sabotaged the Trump event. Remember that? Where was that? Was that in Colorado? Where they pre-order all the tickets and they were hyping it up all the time. Oh man, we're gonna have a lot of people. It's a ridiculous number. And I'm like, dude, you guys ain't following Twitter? This is all a joke. They got you good. But these guys, you know, they broke a world record. And because of the Guinness Book, yesterday, talking about the guy breaking 50 coconuts blindfolded, and I learned why he was putting the water in his eyes. I didn't see beforehand that they were like basically pouring something. It looked a little bit like acid, but I'm assuming that's not what it was. I think it's safe to assume, right, guys? Oh, it's safe to assume that. Oh, let's see here. Come on, man. You know, oh, there we go. Good. All right. I like that. There we are. So I saw this yesterday. Somebody shared this with me. A tree trimmer in California went on a wild ride on a palm tree. When cutting the fronds free, caused the tree trunk to whip upright from a bent-over position. Here we go. We're going to see this here.
Media, but did you know it happened right here in Southern California? Video of this
Watch this,
Redlands
guys.
tree trimmer has gone viral online.
Dang, son.
You see him at the very top of the palm tree, which is precariously
Imagine being that guy up there.
As soon as he cuts the palm fronds free,
oh my gosh,
whips
dude.
back, taking him on quite the ride.
Oh, that guy's like dangling.
And recorded that scream as well, and
Is
watching
that,
him hold
or
on.
no, he's holding on. What's
as the
dangling? I mean,
tree
is that like a
continued to
little
rebound.
kid?
He did eventually
What's
climb
up there?
down.
Oh my God! You could see how they would withstand.
It was bring your
hurricane,
kid to
you know,
work day.
They can bend.
And they're
going
gonna
to
show him one time.
break.
See how
Wham! Look at this
dangerous
guy.
that job is.
Crazy.
I wonder
Hello,
if
I'm Mark
sometimes they
Brown.
do that on
Get more
purpose.
great ABC7 content by clicking the
Get
subscribe
more great,
button.
blah, 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 blah. I hate that. Get more great ABC content. You don't talk that way. What are you doing that but voice? What's up with that, man? Okay. But yeah, I mean, if you guys, what would you do that if you were assured, hey, man, you will not fall off, right? And they give you like some kind of, you know, pinchers or something, clamps that help you to hold on. Would you do that? Would you pay money to do that? I know some folks. Who would do it. Yeah. That's hilarious. You know, and if any of you ever actually been to a place where there are palm trees? It's kind of weird because they're not even, I mean, they are, we call them trees. It's actually, what, a grass? You got to put that in the comment section. Somebody's got to put it in there, man. Somebody's talking to me about, that's why because I was like, why, when there's these major typhoons and stuff, you know, they're not just breaking like crazy. I mean, there's like bent like spaghetti noodles. How do you do that? And they said, well, it's because it's like a grass. And you get close enough and you can tell. It's crazy. And I heard that the roots are actually very, very short. They're shallow and they don't go very far. Kind of crazy. My dad lives in Palm Springs. Oh, come on. Are we really going to look at this? Are we really going to do this? Okay, yesterday, object of intrigue. Okay, I got it. Yeah, yesterday we talked about this. The CIA issued rectal toolkit for spies. I promised I would do this, so we're just going to have to go here. I think it's safe. I think it's safe. Oh, you might need to hide this from the kids.
What I see when I look at the rectal toolkit is a great example of problem solving in the intelligence world.
Just listen to how serious he is. You know, what I see when I look at the rectal toolkit, I wouldn't be able to say that without laughing. Oh, what I see when I look at that rectal toolkit, what I see is someone bent over, you know, like the singer from Stone Temple Pilots being busted by the cops trying to shove a crack pipe up his woo, you know. That's what I'm seeing. Seeing somebody, oh, hurry up. You know, trying to get it out. Like, what are you doing? Nothing. They got that grunt face. Oh my gosh, man. Goodness gracious.
Technology is designed
Look at what's up in there. This is maybe the only time I can say, look at what was up that person's butt. Look at that. You got it. Look at what looks like a nail file, okay, a screwdriver, a drill bit. So you got a bunch of stuff in there. Why not just put a Swiss Army knife? You know what I'm saying? Like, why not just put this obviously is like all Swiss Army. Why not just, why not just do that?
hard problems. My name is Dr.
Hard
Houghton.
problem.
I'm the historian and curator here at the International Spy Museum. The International
kinda
Spy
goes
Museum
back to-
has the largest public display of...
Wait a
espionage,
second. Did you
has
guys
the
see that?
largest-
Hold on. What's this game for one?
International Spy Museum
We need this game. Stat. Allie, you need to go online. You need to find this game. Inkless, stainless, G-Men fingerprint set. Dude, yes. We need that stat. Yeah, but then look at
has
this.
the largest...
Look at that, guys. This is a high-level museum. right there. I mean, that's kind of believable, though. I mean, if I saw somebody with that beard, I wouldn't be thinking it's fake. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some fake beards, dude. I've seen some beards that I'm like, brother, that is not real. You are faking it. Although on a person, look at the guys up in the picture up there. That is kind of a fake looking beard. The one on the right, not so much. Although the mustache part, I'd be like, dude, you know, why not wear those glasses with the bushy eyebrows on top and the fake plastic nose? Why not do that?
Public display of espionage art.
And that, look, I've heard of like little drones. We've got them down to the place where you got ones that look kind of like flies or stuff like that. They're real tiny and they can float around all over the place and you wouldn't know. But if I saw a pigeon walking around with a camera like that around its neck, I would know somebody's spying on me. And by the way, guys, this right here, it might not actually be a stuffed pigeon. It might be a pigeon who's there taking pictures to learn because of the animal uprising. Oh, this guy's like, you busted me. Yeah, the other animals are very angry at him right now. They're bringing him in. They're reprimanding him right now as we speak.
Artifacts anywhere in the world.
Oh.
From time to time, I'll see visitors looking at our escape and evasion case.
I gotta
all
go
the
to this
tools
place
to help you get out of a bad situation.
Yeah,
and you can
you
just
know, a lot of
watch
tools
their
to get you out of a
eyes
bad
that go from artifact
situation.
to artifact.
But
so
is he
the
going to
materials
show...
that rectal toolkits are made of varies to a degree, but you want to make sure that you have a material that does not have the chance of having kind of sharp edges.
No! I don't know. This isn't like child friendly at this point. He's like, you know, there's certain materials. Like, you don't go there. Don't go there, man. Please. This is not good.
Or any kind of splintering effect because of the sensitive places that we're putting this. It also has to be finely machined. The seals have to be very tight, not only to prevent things from seeping into the actual...
Seeping? Really, bro? What's next? Leakage? Like, we don't want any splintering, it'll cause chafing. It's like, well, you know, hey, these are conversations that you will have to have when you get into the CIA.
Actual toolkit itself, but also so that you don't have any kind of sharp edges or ridges that could possibly injure you when you're using this particular artifact. What the toolkit allows them to do is have on hand ways to get them out of a bad situation, to pick a lock, to drill your way through a door.
I'm trying to see, I'm skipping forward to show, okay, there's no demonstration. We're going to call it quits on this. This is actually causing, you know, a little bit of PTSD for me because when I was in the Navy, I ended up having hemorrhoids. Okay. I'm going there, guys. We're talking about this, okay? So I had myself some hemorrhoids. We were doing a lot of marching and there was all this other stuff going on and I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, dude, I'm like, there's some serious pain happening here, guys. I'm like, I'm very uncomfortable right now. And they said, you gotta go to the doctor. So we went to the doctor and I go in there and they're like, hey, you gotta lay down on, you know, this table. So I'm thinking, okay, this is legit. You know, I didn't really anticipate this. I wasn't thinking of what was going to happen. And in comes Dr. Wang. And Dr. Wang is this like pretty hot, right? I mean, she's like on the, you know, upside of the mom hot scale. So she's pretty gorgeous, and she comes in, and she says, you got to get in fetal position. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, and she explained, you know, I got to turn over and get my pants down and stuff, and get your pants by your ankles. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess. And then she goes, okay, you feel little pressure. And I thought, as soon as I heard little pressure, I said, oh, no. And I turned around, and I said, what are you doing? And she picked up something that looked like this. It looked like the rectal toolkit, except that it was like clear. And I thought, no. I'm like, what are you doing? And she brought in these two pretty Chad dudes. I mean, these guys were like kind of tank. And they're like holding me down. And she's like, okay, little pressure. And I'm like, no. I'm begging with everything I've got inside of me. I'm like, please don't do this. It's just next thing I know, whoop. And my mouth opened up. You know when cats yawn, right? Or when a snake is like eating something 20 bazillion times its size and its mouth is like, and opens up. That's what I looked like. I couldn't breathe. I could not breathe. And she was in there, and apparently what it is it's this kind of tube, and you pull out the center of it, and it's clear. You can take this little flashlight and you can look inside, and she's like, oh, it looks like little grapes. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And she's telling these chads, and they're kind of like peeking around. I'm thinking, dude, this is so terrible. This is a very terrible situation. What made it worse is they said I needed to do that 2 more times. I fought both times. I demanded that she at least take me on a date. I was single at the time. You need to at least take me out. I mean, look, if you're going to do this kind of thing, you got to at least buy me a dinner, you know, a steak or something. New Jersey hypnotist facing assault charges for allegedly subjecting clients. Okay, this guy, we are not watching this at all. But this is obviously, this is the rollout, okay? So, yeah, they might start with the CIA and with people who are complying, but in the end, it's going to reach you. So be very afraid. This guy, look, we took a long time with the intro. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I might save this guy for tomorrow. He's hilarious. Have you guys ever seen this? By the way, this doctor, what's his name? Dr. Now? How would you pronounce that? Nauzaradin? This guy, he helps people who are obese and stuff. And he has a conversation that kind of ran along the lines of what we were talking about yesterday. And if you missed that, and you would like to know more, not only, go back after this show, go back, paleocratdiaries.com, watch yesterday's episode. I think it was episode 24? I think this is episode 25. If it is, it's a landmark. We're doing good, guys. Make sure to go listen to that. It's in the thumbnail. It says something about like fat shaming for COVID or something like that. And then also check back in the future, because we are going to be talking about this. As I said, I've been talking to health professionals all over the world, very high-ranking people all over, who are like, look, you're doing a great job, Jeremiah. we're 100% behind you. And they're going to help us put together some kind of a protocol that we can just lift each other up, right? Because a lot of us are so fat we can't lift ourselves up. And so we need each other. We do. But this guy, we might listen for a second. Hold on. He's fine.
My problem is I'm holding a lot of fluid. I can't hardly pee.
Really?
I mean, I don't...
So this guy, by the way, got a gastric bypass. And I think his wife next to him did too, and she's lost like 50 pounds, and home slice here is like 0. And he's puking all the time. He's complaining that he's puking all the time. And he's like, yeah, because you're eating so much food.
I don't know. What do you mean you don't know?
And you think that you're not eating and you're getting...
I don't want to get malnourished either.
Have you guys given yourselves this argument before, by the way? That you're like, thing is, yeah, I would like to trim down on what I eat, but I don't want to be malnourished. As you're eating, a bunch of fries and Big Macs and candy bars. I don't want to be malnourished.
Do you look like you're malnourished?
Okay. Do you look like you're malnourished? That's kind of like, yeah, a little bit. A little bit. He's nourished, but what's that? Maybe that's the wrong word for it, It's kind of like people when they say, well, it's not... The person's obviously eating, okay? But it's kind of what they're eating. You know what I'm saying?
You're overeating, and whatever you're overeating, you're throwing up. It means the surgery is working to hold you back when you make bad choices. And it's the only reason that you didn't gain 100 pounds these past 2 months.
Do you not want me to eat at all?
100 pounds in 2 months? It's the only reason you haven't gained 100 pounds in 2 months. Oh my gosh, dude, this guy you're amazing. Dr. Now.
That's not what I'm saying at all. You have been given a tool to help you change your life. Now that you had the surgery, the physical drive to eat is gone. So you have to deal with what is driving you to eat. That's the hard part, and you don't want to do it. And you're running from it and self-destructing.
I'm done with this conversation.
This is what I'm saying. It's one thing to be, and he is laying down a lot of truth bombs, but we need to lift this guy up too. We need to find out who this guy is and send him episodes of Paleocrat Diaries stat. So you guys, we got to find this guy. Should be easy, actually. Should be easy to spot him in a crowd. Unless this is an older video. When is it? 2018. This guy might be, a mega buff Chad at this point. We'll find out. Speaking of mega buff Chads, going to the chat room here. Okay, let's see here. Antifa are commie scum. They have, speaking of people with COVID, or the leaders, okay, the ones making these crazy decisions, they have no empathy, which is crazy considering the emotional nature of their arguments. That's true. It is true. HFM, I'm so fed up with COVID this, COVID that. If I had $1 every time I heard that, dude, we would be bazillionaires at this point. And we're only how many months into this? How long do you think it's going to go on, by the way, guys? Heard on Tim Pool is CF. Heard on Tim Pool that New York has ID'd Orthodox Jewish neighborhoods as red zones. Oh, yeah, man, they're totally targeting them. Guess that's why he's on the phone with the Jewish community leader? Yes, because exactly, that is why. Because the Jews in New York, man, they've had it. They're going out doing public events and stuff, man. They're done. I wish I could say as much about Catholics. You know what I'm saying? Bethany says, ooh, that is not a man. Oh, you talking about BTS? Oh, no. Oh, you're going to have a bunch of K-pop stans all over you now. Oh, watch it, girl. Oh, man. It's hilarious. Because thing is, talking about the calendar, right, with BTS, I didn't even know we had it. I think it may have been weeks that had been up in the house before I even realized it was there. And when I did, I was like, is this a joke? Like, what is this? Why is this in our house? I was really confused. It was like kind of alarming. I said, oh, no. Oh, man. Yeah, Pigeon with the Polaroid. It is, man. Pigeon with the Polaroid. You got to watch it. So we know now, at least one of the tactics that are being used, and we know which group at least was being used. So we need to go back. We need to look in a catalog of recent pictures of pigeons, zoom in on all the pigeons, and see how many of them are using those. GoPros, Polaroids, anything. We got to find out. Yeah. This story must be shared with your brothers. I'm not sure exactly which story you were talking about in particular, but yeah, dude, it's got to. It has got to. It's got to be shared with the brothers like crazy. The brothers should be, dude, I'm actually kind of a little bit surprised that the bros aren't loving this show and sharing this show as much as they are. Like, it kind of blows my mind a little bit. I'm like, guys, this is right up your alley, man. We're talking about CIA rectal toolkits. You know what I mean? Come on. The boys have been through the waiting room. Oh, man. Oh, come on. Okay. I think I know where this is going, but I'm not entirely sure. Like ripped pants or something. Hold on. Oh, you can't play this video. Why? Hold on a second. There's no audio. I hate that about Facebook, by the way. It should replay. Hold on. Did you hear that? Hold on. We got to hear it again. Who's the guy in the back? Look at that dude behind him. One more time, and I'll be quiet because you got to hear it. It's good. Okay. I don't know who's the sicko that sent this to me. Who's the sicko that thought that this was hilarious? Have you guys ever seen that old prank show Just for Laughs? It's hilarious. They have one where there's like this super buff bodybuilding guy, and he has a fart machine. I used to have one of those when I was a kid. It could be, it's more realistic sounding a lot of times than the whoopee cushions and stuff. And all you gotta do is just push a button, and you can muffle it. You know what I'm saying? You can like wrap it in a sock, do other stuff, hide it in your shirt and you're in class, and it had 10 different fart noises and stuff. But this guy, by the looks of this dude is deadly serious. He might have actually maybe gone a little bit of doo-doo. Or if he's a CIA guy, it might be dangling, turtle head in his pants. the toolkit. What's this? The New York town of... Can I say that? Swastika? What? It voted to keep its name. A small town in upstate New York voted to keep the name swastika, saying that the two founders named it after the Sanskrit word and not the hate symbol associated with the Nazis. I'm with them. I understand that. I also understand that people will say it don't matter. It's kind of like saying, I want to put the pride flag out in front of my house, but it's really because of the rainbow in, the book of Genesis. And it won't matter. People driving by, it matters to you in your heart and to what you believe. But when people drive by, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad these people are out and open about their gayness. And you're going to have it. You're going to have it. And so people are going to be like, oh, you voted to keep the name? You're on defensive automatically. Now, I have to give them props, though. I have to. They're braver than Battle Creek. Battle Creek, Michigan, their official city seal used to have the actual story behind the founding, where there's one of the guys from the expedition, I think it was Colonel Mullet, if I remember, from, I think, Detroit. And they were looking for land over in this area, and they left one of these guys back at the camp to kind of watch. He was, one of the guys you want to leave back at the camp. You're like, you stay here, buddy. We don't really care for you. And his job was just to keep it safe. And apparently, by keeping it safe, when he came in contact, there were a couple Native Americans that came. And next thing you know, they're tied up, and he's, bludgeoning them with the end of his rifle. And old Colonel comes back and says, oh my gosh, this is not good. We are not we're so sorry about this. How did this happen? This is bad. And so they let them go, tried to reconcile, went back to Detroit, and they were going to name it. It was a number of different names. I think one of them was Calhoun, that they were thinking about naming it, which of course became the name of the county as well as a primary road. There was a couple other ones that they wanted to name it. And they ended up naming it Battle Creek because people heard the story of the joke. And so the seal actually showed a Native American on the ground with his hand up in the air, feather and everything at the camp. And there's a dude with a rifle in the air. It's still actually in the window. I don't know if they've actually removed it. And whenever they try to remove it off of the internet, I say, you're not going to 1984 any of us. And I put it right back on. So anytime you see that, you can thank me and maybe a couple other people, but I'm on it. I'll be on it till I'm old and gray. Okay, only a couple more of these funny stories, and we have to get to these serious news things here. What's this? Is it just a picture? No idea what that is. Okay. Beer cans dropped from Amish buggy lead to underage drinking charges. Pennsylvania State Police have filed underage drinking charges after seeing an Amish buggy driving down the road dropping beer cans. Okay, I mean, look. Oh, they found a 16-year-old female from Centerville. Where is this, by the way? Pennsylvania. Okay. Inside, under the influence of alcohol. It's a bummer. That's a bummer. Yeah, from Erie News. Now, here's the thing, man. People don't know this. If you haven't seen the movie, what is it, Devil's Playground? You got to see it. It's about, how do you pronounce that? Rumspringa? When they turn 16 years old. And they're told in their religion, they have to make that decision on their own. Now, they've been primed for 16 years. They've been in this weird world, not even knowing who George Washington is and things like that. And some of them do. I've heard criticisms. I also know of people who've left who talk about the newness of learning all of these new things. So there are a lot of people, though, that might, with money exchanging, right? Because they do sell a lot of stuff. In fact, we've got a lot of Amish-made stuff here, so I don't want to dog them too badly. But I mean, there's definitely a lot of brain stuff going on with the kids for 16 years. But when they say, okay, you got to separate, you live as one of the English, okay? So you are out in the world, and they normally pay for a trailer or whatever, and they live kind of in these small communities. You want to talk about crazy? You want to talk about wild lawlessness? You got to watch that movie. It's insane. And it's kind of crazy. I mean, we're talking like dealing meth and stuff, man. Meth. Orgiastic parties, man. I mean, just super pretty bad. And it was kind of cool watching it. I mean, not just, to kind of see the insanity of it all, but to also know that like 99% of them go back. And they show one, they follow one that did not. I think for a while she did, because you normally do your mate pairing during that time too. And so you'll go back and normally, you're committing, saying, look, I'm coming back for life. And it's a high retention rate, by the way. Okay, that's what happens when you when you do their style of upbringing with that degree of that. You're going to have a pretty high retention rate, in fact, because it would be really difficult to survive on the outside. It just would be. I mean, people would wonder about you, and you would have a difficult time just acclimating. Now they try and they get involved and stuff like that, and sheriffs, they talk about the difficulties with it and stuff like that. But one of the people who decided not to go back, she ended up going to a college, and she said she was so excited because she got accepted into this Bible college called Christ for the Nations Bible College in Dallas, Texas. And I thought, dude, that's where I was. I went there, and she may have actually been there while I was there. I didn't know her personally. At least I don't remember. I don't remember. Okay, we're going to skip over animal laws. We're going to skip over a bunch of this stuff. Let me see. You know what? We'll just go. Look, we'll do one more thing. Just as a reminder, you have to check out JoeBidenIsSick.com. You have to do it. Joe Biden is sick. Parkinson's disease. This is actually a really great video on this. So you got to check it out. They've got a video here revealed. Joe Biden has resting tremors. Caught. Joe Biden, his walk, his gait, the gait and rigidity, his handwriting, cognitive changes, handlers. And handlers, people don't even really think to pay attention to the handlers. But you have to, man. People can make fun and say, oh, well, Trump was holding on to a rail, and go, dude, these people, Hillary and Biden, they're having people literally hold on to them because they can't hardly walk. They struggle. Psych issues, really rough stuff with Joe Biden. And as I said, he's got skeletoritis. And so, like, his face is looking more and more like Skeletor with every passing day. I don't even know. I've never seen somebody, take a nosedive, a free fall that deep into skeletoritis that fast. I've never seen it. That's a first. It's a first, guys. Okay, on to real news. And remember, we're going to go, let's switch up this graphic. Let's switch up the graphic. Bannon. It's the gold standard. Blam. Okay. All right. Remember, if you want to submit any news, I got a couple I won't be able to talk about today that I received recently. I'm going to add a couple in the meme section that I received. But if you would like for me to talk about different articles, different topics, to have on different guests as time rolls on, please make sure, and even if they're not live interviews, that no matter when we can coordinate and get the people on, because they may be busy during this time, right? But we'll try to do it so that we can still provide you with amazing content. We do it every single weekday from 10 to noon. And sometimes even going to be on the weekends with member-only content. Might even involve some gaming where I'm playing games. Maybe even some old Nintendo games. It's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe Wolf 3D in the dark. It's going to be tons and tons of fun. PaleocratDiaries.com. All right. Feminist versus Amy Coney Barrett. We kind of know a lot about this. This is over at National Review. Okay. Alexandra DeSanctis. It's kind of a cool name. But right here, I just want to bring this up because this is current. We're dealing with this right now. One of the defining characteristics of modern feminism is their brazen insistence on applying their supposedly ironclad pro-woman principles only to women whose views they favor. That's how you know that their system sucks. I won't get into this. I don't like talking about anything too personal. We got into a conversation about abortion and talking about underlying assumptions and saying that, the problem is you hear whenever people go piecemeal in an argument and they'll bring up a certain policy over here, a certain policy over here. What you find is that they're situational, because what ends up happening is that it doesn't really apply. It often is disconnected. That's a better way of saying it. It's often disconnected from ruling assumptions, and those ruling assumptions disconnected from other assumptions in that network that creates what we call a worldview. It's your presuppositions. It's what you assume about the world, about yourself, about ethics, about others, about reality, about language, about all these things. You have certain core foundational assumptions that you make when engaging in any discussion at all. For example, you are assuming right now that I am not a banana, or that your computer is not going to turn into a dragon, or that if you're driving down the road, that you'll be perfectly fine if you're going on the wrong side of the highway at 100 miles per hour toward a semi-truck. You make basic assumptions about reality. And a lot of times those assumptions, people just take them for granted and say, well, they're axiomatic. I don't need to really argue that. No, you do, because that doesn't always make sense with what you're saying. And it doesn't always make sense with experience in the world. You can say, look, that doesn't add up. That doesn't add up. And so we need to be able to analyze this. When we're talking about feminism, what we find is you go, oh, so you're saying that these ironclad pro-woman principles, that they apply to all women, except when it comes out that there are women who disagree with you. All of a sudden, big-time problem. Consider left-wing super PAC Emily's List, which exists solely to fund the campaigns of pro-abortion Democratic women. The group's fundraising pitches routinely insist that we must elect more women. What they really mean is that we need to elect more women who agree with them. And that's true. That's true. And even their views of women are suspect at that point. Beyond this, by the way, talking about stuff with male to female and saying, no, that's a woman equally. Yeah, it's really not. It's why we have a category of M to F. Abortion advocacy groups NARAL and Planned Parenthood follow a similar model, championed as icons of female empowerment, only those women who embrace abortion on demand. Their manipulation of identity politics is a fundamental part of their PR strategy. It's totally true. And it's weird because they blame, when they talk about abortion, they treat it as if all women agree with this. They're just wrong. They're just wrong about that. And when they treat it like when they come against old white men, and I'm glad that this person brought it up to talk about the old white men thing. Oh, only old white men, angry old white men, seek yet again to control women's bodies. Planned Parenthood and NARAL trumpet on Twitter. Meanwhile, they clutch to their hearts the Supreme Court decision in Roe v. Wade, enacted by 7 men, 6 of whom were white. Again, there's a disconnect here. It's in that way, it is laughable. Like, you can look and go, I don't need to take that one claim serious, at least not on those grounds. And sadly, the grounds of why you're saying I should take it seriously are literally in the argument itself. It's insane. Oh, no. Yeah, I hate when National Review has this problem, by the way, with that. Has this problem with that. All right, we're moving on. But this is the case. You know, let me just finish up on that. That if somebody says, you know, and this isn't even really much of an argument. Oh, angry white men oppose this. You know, oh yeah, men don't have a right to make decisions about that. But then they say, well, on Roe they did. Look at the brazen hypocrisy. It's grotesque. And on a matter that is absolutely grotesque. Some of that stuff, blood and body parts, sickos, murderous sickos. Breaking shock video. Oh yeah, this, by the way, remember yesterday I told you guys that there was going to be something brought out, or maybe it was 2 days ago, that James O'Keefe, Project Veritas, come to find out, it was this dude right here, Christopher Jacks, chair of Our Revolution. Oh no. Imagine that. Look at that. Yeah, hashtag armed revolution. Because that's what he's talking about, guys. A Denver area Democrat staffer and chairman of nonprofit Our Revolution, Christopher Jacks, was caught on video admitting 2020 is a political revolution and the Democrats will do anything to seize power. The Democrats, quote, want to change this country with violence. There's only one way to do it. Guillotines, mother effer. Killing random Nazis in the street. Joe Biden is presumably left-leaning, he goes on, and he's got a functioning signing hand. I do think there needs to be a militant group, and I like Antifa for that reason. Of course, after this came out, he panicked. He deleted his Twitter account. Oh no, oopsies. Dude, you think we got you on camera, homie. You are busted. You are busted, man. Yes. Uh-oh, I better delete it. You're so busted, dude. And you know what? That's not even the only one. Is there a part 2 to this? Yep, right here. Part 2, Our Revolution chairman Chris Jacks reveals the depth. And this is why people can go, oh, so yeah, he's like a guy for Our Revolution, Colorado. So what? Who cares? Our Revolution is a big thing. Oh, here's the depth of his radical organization's infiltration into Colorado Democratic Party. He goes on a list. He lists out what it is. Let's see here. Our Revolution chairman Chris Jacks reveals the depth that he's infiltrated into the Colorado Democratic Party. I'm part of the Colorado Democrats exec committee, dozens of other committees, and he names them off in the video, and I don't want to fast forward through it, but he names them off. We now have a comfortable majority in the Weld County Dems executive committee. 12 out of 14 belong to Our Revolution. Wow. Yeah, where's the FBI? Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. They're all focused on people who are supporting the police, who are not taking the law into their own hands, who are not outside burning down buildings, throwing bricks at people's faces. Which, by the way, all of that is simply making good on promises. You can watch video after video after video of these organizers defending violence. They believe in it. It's philosophically part of their system. They defend burning down buildings. In fact, they call it an amazing thing. Go watch videos about the Sunrise Movement. They're terrorists, dude. I'm sorry. They are terrorists. And you know our country's at war when they're not being prosecuted as terrorists. You actually know that we're at war, and you know who our agencies are siding with, which is frightening. Absolutely frightening. You know, where's all the talk about the people who say, look, you can watch video after video of people defending the rioting and the looting. You can see it probably on all your friends' Facebook pages. People who support that. It's okay. It's because of, he had to steal those Jordans. He had to steal all the cologne and the wine and the beer because of stuff that was done not to him and maybe not to even people that he was related to, but people, that are the same color of skin. What? What's wrong with you? That's the lowest bar you can have for mass violence. Arrest them. Lock them up into one of those nice jackets and put them in a nerfed room. It's where we are, guys. Here's somebody who agrees. This is digital civil war. New York Post editor fumes after Facebook and Twitter censor the Biden bombshell. Blockbuster emails from Hunter Biden's laptop reveal that he introduced his father, then Vice President Joe Biden, to a Ukrainian energy executive. Amari? Sorabamari? The op-ed editor for the Post, and I like him. I'm pretty bad with names, so I gotta be honest. I've never heard an interview, so I don't, I should go on there and look that kind of stuff up beforehand. I should. The op-ed editor for the Post expressed outrage on Twitter over the censorship, calling it a big tech information coup and a digital civil war. Quote, I, an editor at the New York Post, one of the nation's largest papers by circulation, cannot post one of our own stories that details corruption by a major party presidential candidate, Biden. You can't. because it's been identified by Twitter and our partners as being potentially harmful. Potentially. Think about it, guys. Think about it. And who are the third party buddies of theirs, the fact checkers? We've done conversations about this. You can go online and you can see who are the people fact checking this. Almost each and every time, they are people who have been highly embedded in the Democratic Party. It's true. Oftentimes, there's even conflicts of interest, that it would essentially be a debate between accuser and accused. No, it didn't happen. Okay, you said so. I guess we'll go ahead and flag it and censor it. Facebook Communications Director Andy Stone, here's a perfect example of this, announced earlier Wednesday that Facebook was, quote, reducing distribution of the Hunter Biden bombshell while it is being fact-checked by their fact-checking partners. By the way, Stone is a former employee of 2 Democratic members of Congress and also worked for the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. Oh, that's neat. It's neat how you do that. You guys have no concept of conflict of interest. None. It ain't no problem. Oh, hey, buddy, he's accusing you of something. Did you do it? No, I didn't do it. They're lying. They're dirty. Ban them. Okay, sounds good to me. What's wrong with you? Oh, Josh Hawley's on it. Facebook, explain your decision to censor the sourced reporting of the New York Post. Did Biden campaign ask you to do so? Twitter put it on as unsafe, blocking users from sharing it. The Federalist Sean Davis called the censorship brazen, blatant election interference from illegal tech monopolies trying to steal the election. Dude, if you guys think, oh, what makes you think they're trying to steal it? Didn't you see the videos of the day after? Remember that? Remember that the day after? There's a lot of you here who are really traumatized because Trump won. We're going to do a lot better to make sure this never happens again. And they've been making good on it ever since. Ever since. They've been making good on it. And look at the leaders. Look at where the money goes. Look at who they support. The leaders. Look at the way that the algorithm, oh, it's such a coincidence. It must have been a glitch in our system. They lie. There's no need for transparency. They're just a bunch of liars. They're just a bunch of liars. We need to take that out, man. We need to take them down. Break them up, son. Break them up. And by the way, yes, Molly Hemingway from the Federalist was right to point out that this is the same media and the same big tech industry that was happy to spread disinformation about Trump and Russia. Dude, they did it for a long time. How many fake stories, guys, have we had to deal with where people share some other stupid crap? Unbelievable. And it's crazy because they're making this argument that because it was hacked and they don't know who hacked it. Dude, do you know how many news stories are based on that? Anonymous sources. And by the way, Biden's team did not deny the authenticity of those for the same reason that it was stupid to question the authenticity of the DNC and Hillary emails. The DNC did that for like 5 seconds. Stupid. It's unbelievable. Yes, Omri Sarin. I think Omri actually follows me. In which Twitter, against the backdrop of a debate over the extent to which they act as a publisher, tags a politically explosive story posted by Judiciary GOP on the eve of an election as unsafe. So the House Judiciary GOP shares it, marks it as unsafe. And that there's this debate over the fact that these places are acting as publishers. They are. This is, look, maybe they're biding their time. Maybe they're just, they actually are really biding their time because they can't wait for Biden. And they will do everything in their power. And that's why you got to sit there and you got to say, look, they only have power insofar as we actually give it to them. And we don't demand that it be taken back. But what do you do in a situation? What do you do where our leaders, we don't have enough Josh Hawleys. We don't have enough guys like that. We have too many people, you know, who sit there and they'll talk a big game. But then you find out, oh, you're getting a bunch of money from big tech lobby firms. Oh, I see. So you talk tough. We need to crack down. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. It's all going to be pageantry and for show. And all the while, you're taking in the money. Give me more of that loot. Give me more of the loot, buddy. They can't have enough, man. The love of money. The love of money. Look at this, by the way. Exclusive picture shows 2 suspects in Whitmer kidnapping plot attending Black Lives Matter rally. Yeah. So, I mean, look, dude, it's spreading more and more and more. The Boogaloo Boys, man, I'm telling you, what did I say? I said, look, these guys are a conflicted group. That's what happens when you are anarchists. That's what happens. You get mistaken. And people are like, oh, yeah, I bet that guy really hates Black Lives Matter. No, dude, they hate cops. They hate cops. They believe that the state is tyrannical. They believe that Trump is a tyrant. The Boogaloo Boys. Yeah, but they won't even, the thing is, man, they won't even talk about that. Kind of like they won't talk about this. Charged Denver shooter, Matthew Dolliff's left-wing Facebook posts. The private security guard arrested and charged with first-degree murder in the shooting death of a Patriot Prayer demonstrator in Denver is a far leftist with a track record of left-wing social media postings. This is according to Big League Politics. It's not surprising that Dolliff is quick to resort to violence against conservatives when he views President Trump as a fascist dictator. I've said this since all this began, since even before. I said, if we get to this place where you start calling people Nazis, what's next? What's next? You can debate all you want over what you should do to them, but you will not win in the modern environment of the left and even in big tech. You're not going to win if you say, well, we should debate. We should follow the traditional rules of the United States of America on how to deal with groups that we disagree with. That's a losing proposition at this point. It's not even losing. It's just straight up lost. In the major institutions, it has lost. It's dogmatic at this point. So if you call somebody a fascist and you say that he's a dictator, a fascist dictator ruling the United States of America? Oh, yeah, I'll skip over that. That's a nasty woman. Illegal immigrants must go back home. Oh, serious? So when are you going? That's such a weak argument, by the way. Yeah, this guy. Yeah, just a whole bunch of this leftist content, like crazy. And here's the thing about it. NBC affiliate 9 News hired him with no security license. It's crazy. We mentioned that yesterday. It's been revealed that the killer of a Trump supporter at a Colorado Trump rally on Saturday was not a private security official, contrary to the claims made by 9 News. And that's suspicious too, by the way. I think this is, the 6 points on the Denver homicide Trump supporter, homicide of Trump supporter that are not being reported. Here are the 6. This is over at Gateway Pundit. This may be inaccurate, claiming the shooter was not connected to Antifa. Per a review of his history, the shooter, Matthew Dolliff, has a long history of connections with radical far-left movements like Occupy Denver and Antifa. Yeah, we got his wife. We got him, man. We know. You say, oh, yeah, look at the involvement that you got. Look at the kind of stuff you share. Look at the world that you're in, including, by the way, the guy, the even people reporting for News 9. The accused was booked in error. This is interesting. Next, we found that when booking the accused murderer, Dolph, the police recorded his name in their system incorrectly. Misspelled it. This is still the case. I don't know if it is as of right now. I think this was shared yesterday. There is no Dolph recorded in their system that we can find. Number 3, there's no record that the shooter was a security guard. They're claiming to be the first to report the shooter's name, that it's missing on the Colorado list of registered security guards in Denver. More people since our initial post have reported the same observation. Number 4, if he was a guard, he likely broke the law. Not only was Dolph not a security guard, if he was breaking the law by carrying his gun without proper licensing. Number 5, the murder appears to be in cold blood. Yeah. Now, how did that happen? In the video clip above, some of our readers claim that there appears to be a few pictures missing. In the incident, it now appears that the shooter pulled his gun and fired. In a picture provided overnight, the mace from Keltner had not reached Dolph before he fired at him. Number 6, the attack appears coordinated. There's a dude. A guy in Black Guns Matter. It's a shirt. He was out stirring up trouble at the event with the Trump supporters. He started screaming and trying to get the others into a fight. Getting up in their face. Agitating. The man's name is Jacob Kelly. He's one of the leaders of the Denver area Antifa Black Lives Matter BLM insurgents. There he is right there. Jacob Kelly. But it's not just Kelly, though. That news group follows him around. There's a woman. The photographer. Yeah. What's her name? You guys got it in the comment section, man. Let me know. But this kind of thing happens where you get this agitation starting, and you've got the people there with the cameras. Kind of like, remember, I brought up the thing about remember when everybody was sharing the frontline heroes that were standing out at the rallies of people in their cars, by the way, in their own cars, which that was not forbidden to be in your own car. And there were people dressed as nurses with glasses and hats on and everything. You couldn't tell. They were never interviewed. They never confirmed where they worked. No journalist even tried. And the journalist that was going around taking pictures, lo and behold, there's a video where it was obviously a setup where they were working together, and the dude goes out, person takes a picture, everybody runs, and you go, man, you're busted, dude. You are on camera. Propaganda. Propaganda, guys. But it results in terrible things. Like, for example, being pro-Trump has caused me more grief than being Osama bin Laden's niece. Think about that. By Tyler Durden over at Zero Hedge. Americans are, in my experience, the warmest, most kind-hearted, and open-minded people in the world. Thank you so much, by the way. This is authored by Noor bin Laden. It's via The Spectator. So Noor bin Laden, and it's spelled differently. She actually says that bin Laden with Ladin is the original. Americans are, in my experience, the warmest, most kind-hearted, and open-minded people in the world. Thank you, by the way. I have found this to be true for my whole life, despite being the niece of Osama bin Laden. Can you imagine that, by the way? Can you imagine the trouble she's seen in sharing the same last name, albeit spelled a little different? Americans base their judgment on the content of someone's character. They used to. They should. Many still do. The good ones. And their actions, not on the color of their skin or their last name. This was reaffirmed last month after I voiced my love for America and support for President Trump. The response to my letter to America, and I maybe we'll talk about that next time or next week, has been overwhelmingly wonderful. And I am most thankful to all those who took the time to read it and send kind messages. But in my private life, I've lost a few so-called friends for backing Donald Trump over the past 5 years. So she was early on. She was one of the escalator people, right? I'm down with that. And she's really pretty, man. Gorgeous lady. Coming out publicly was a step too far for some. And the vitriol I received for stating my political beliefs revealed unflattering sides to certain characters. From a sociological standpoint, it's quite interesting that in some elitist circles, being pro-Trump has caused me more grief than carrying the name Bin Laden. Just reflect on that. And then reflect on this guy. This guy right here. This guy right here. Because look at what he's doing. And I don't know if you guys saw this. Gaslighting Joe and his white supremacists. In Gettysburg on Tuesday, Biden's campaign, this is over at American Greatness. And if you guys, it would be amgreatness.com. You got to check that site out. I love it. Absolutely love it. In Gettysburg on Tuesday, Biden's campaign came full circle as he recapitulated his stark vision of what is ailing the country. Quote, "We have no need for armed militias roaming America's streets, and we should have no tolerance for extremist white supremacy groups menacing our communities." Where are you seeing this, by the way, bro? Where are you seeing this? It's amazing. Couldn't he say, we have no tolerance for extremists? Or, we have no tolerance for extremists in the Black Lives Matter movement going out and burning cities down and threatening people, or the Sunrise Movement waking people up and threatening to kick in their doors, including, by the way, sitting senators. Oh, of course not. Because that's it. Those right there, those are his brown shirts, man. They got to do his work. You can be forgiven if you're a little confused by all this. What world is Biden living in? Even Charlottesville feels like a tired anachronism by now. How many times do we have to hear about Trump praise the fine people on both sides? Which, by the way, of course, is a lie. We've talked about it here on the show. I won't even dignify that anymore. I'll be like, dude, you're some kind of joker. You're like a flat earth person. You're a real bizarro person. Weirdo. I have to have like weirdo disinfectant spray. Hold on a second. Yo, Allie. We're going to have to be on this, like, right away. I need you to look up real quickly just weirdo disinfectant spray. Extremist weirdo. Extra strength, okay? Thank you. So here's the thing. Yeah, she's going to be on that. We're going to get that. We're going to get extra strength, triple extra strength, quadruple extra strength. Extremist weirdo disinfectant spray. Right? It might just be called bear mace. That might be what it's called. I think we just call it bear mace now, right? But yeah, the fact that we're in greater danger right now from groups like Black Lives Matter than we are even from groups like the Ku Klux Klan, which, by the way, I don't know if they mentioned this in this particular article, but do you guys even know what the whole situation is with the Klan and how many people are involved in that? Man, I don't think it's in this one. Even according to the Southern Poverty Law Center, it's like 3,000 to 5,000 people living in tents and trailer parks. Give me a break. And we all saw the not effing around people. The black militia walking through the street, accidentally, shooting. Oh, oops. Terrible with guns, by the way. And paid for. These are paid provocateurs. To go around, we saw them. They were going to go confront the KKK. What, is there video of that? Can you guys share that with me? Can you share that with me? Because I am just simply not seeing it. There's another article that's better about this. Let's see. But we live in a world where everybody is sitting here freaking out about the idea of racism. They're finding racism in everything in the world. Everywhere you look, oh, it's racist. Oh, it's racist. Everywhere. And they can't even see the forest for the trees. or the forest burning to the ground for all of the rotten and rootless branches that are there. They can't see it. Seattle teacher tells 8th graders that peace is racist. Think about that. You wonder, oh, why is it that they believe in violence? Oh, maybe because they believe that peace itself is racist and art history is white supremacist. An art teacher at TOPS at Seward School in Seattle, Washington, told her 8th grade students that the concept of peace is racist and that President Donald Trump is divisive, adding that some of her own art projects are racist and derived from white privilege. The teacher added that art history comes from a European, Eurocentric, white supremacist point of view. How many dumb words can you put in a row? They all start sounding like these cult members. They're like plug in the words in the order so that you can hear I am saying the words right. It's a cult, man. Her rambling monologue was captured by a student who recorded the class. Oh, really? Oh, dang, son. Here we go.
Condition, and I'm trying to uncondition myself. But I just wanted you guys to know that, you know, if you believe in peace,
that beak, bro.
It can mean lots of different things. But I also believe that peace is really not possible without equality and justice, and that.
It's not possible. Peace is not possible without equality and justice. Well, what does that mean? Break that down for us, lady.
That's why, you know, you could have a peaceful protest and try to.
They use these MK Ultra buzzwords.
Yeah, okay. I don't need that guy's commentary. I don't want to bust on his chops. I don't know who that guy is. Maybe it's one of the students and stuff. But the thing is, what does it say? She said, oh, I might have been coming from a racist perspective with that whole theme, talking about peace. This was her own assignment. The teacher then began ranting about how she believes peace cannot exist if inequality and injustice exist at the same time. You may not understand this, but in fact, that's almost like peace arises from the resolution of trying to stop that place of peace, that disposition of peace. The world isn't even fair. Until the world is fair, we can't have peace. Are you nuts? What a shallow view. You should stick to drawing pictures and, maybe duct taping bananas to walls. Taking pictures of dirty diapers and stuff as art. Because you don't have much going for you, lady. Pivotal moment. Man admits firing shot that preceded Kyle Rittenhouse shooting. Kyle should be able to sue the ever-living daylights out of every single mass media and big tech platform that made sure that this kind of stuff can't get out there. Sue them. Oh, so now there was somebody firing a shot that preceded him. And from behind him, by the way, running to get away, a shot at him. He turns around. People coming at him, bwam, 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 blow it off, man. Toast. Ugh. Dead. Dead. Bwam, arm gone. It's what you get. It's what you get, brother. You messed with the wrong kid. By the way, excellent marksmanship. Look, we give credit where it's due, guys. Even if you don't like it, man, he had better aim than the dude, thank God, better aim than the crazy, violent, lunatic Antifa BLM weirdo that was shooting at him in the first place. Man, sue them. They will, man. They are going to sue the ever-living daylights out of these groups. Yeah, this is the one about racism I want to talk about. On the peculiar character of American racism. That America is a racist country is the greatest self-evident truth of the left and of the ruling class. This is by David Azarad. whose moral opinions are shaped by it. This truth is self-evident in the sense of being readily apparent to them, as evidenced by the countless disparities in life outcomes between blacks and whites. No explanation for these disparities is ever required. Their mere existence is proof of racism. You know, people act like, oh, so you're not saying that it's based on racism? Well, what do you have to say it's based on then? Dude, people act like I'd be afraid to talk about that. I talk about this stuff all the time. I'm like, dude, are you crazy? You're like, if it's not the absolute worst subconscious thing that's affecting everybody in a way that I can't quantify, well then, what do you think it is? A lot of things way more likely than that, by the way. I will cut you to death with Occam's razor. It's easy pickings, man. But we'll find out why they don't deal with it. The disparities between Asians and whites, between Indians and whites, between Nigerian immigrants and whites, they all go studiously ignored, since these groups generally outperform whites when it comes to income and educational attainment. Also ignored is the role that the pathologies of inner city black kids and their cultures, fatherlessness, crime, nihilistic alienation, and the exaltation of thuggery play in producing and sustaining disparities. People may not like to hear that. People may not like to hear that and go, oh, wait a second. You're saying that having a fatherless home matters? Obviously it does, dude. The statistics are overwhelming. The data. Oh, crime? What? Yeah, but don't you realize that he had to steal those Jordans? See, they make caricatures out of black people. It's messed up. The people who believe this really do make it as if black people are mindless, as if they have no control whatsoever, as if there's no connection between the environment, which is weird, by the way, a little, for left-leaning people to say, you know, it doesn't matter what the culture is. It doesn't matter what the home is like. It doesn't matter, because ultimately they push it back further to this mysterious phantom that's supposedly everywhere in a way that we can't quantify. It's a conspiracy theory. It's like the patriarchy. It's a joke. The caricature of the patriarchy. America's racist nature is also self-evident in the philosophical sense. And this is what I was saying about abortion earlier. It's an axiomatic truth. The predicate, and we're just going to get a little technical, but roll with me. The predicate, racism, is contained in the subject, America. In the same way that all bachelors are by definition single, so is America by definition racist. Formulated as such, the self-evident truth of American racism cannot be refuted. It's impervious to counter-arguments or to data, historical developments. Believers in American racism, they simply don't care about your facts. Think about this one. In 1991, Derek Bell, one of the founders of critical race theory, declared that blacks have made no progress in America since 1865. He made this with a straight face at Harvard University, where he'd been a tenured professor for 2 decades. Funny enough, in 1865, Harvard did not admit black students. Again, remember what I was saying about the abortion thing. They make these statements that completely that are disconnected from the overall worldview from whence those things supposedly came. In this sense, interestingly enough, you have a claim, we've never made a single advancement all this time. It's been no progress. And he's saying that within the setting of a college, a university that used to not allow black kids. And it does now. The accusation of racism is their most powerful political weapon. Oh, it is. They use it like a sledgehammer. Yeah, it's worse than that whole, oh my gosh, the hatchet job that Cuomo was talking about COVID, playing the race card allows them to detract attention from their own corruption and radical ideas that they espouse. Yeah, because then they can just blame you for being a terrible person. They can blame, and they don't even need to show how you've been a terrible person. Oh, it doesn't matter if you haven't thought anything bad. It doesn't matter if you haven't said anything bad. It doesn't matter if you live in an area and part of town and send your kids to a school that is predominantly black. It doesn't matter if you are in an interracial marriage or you have friends from different races. It doesn't matter because you're white. You're a deplorable. That's all that matters. They see the color of your skin and, well, you lost. Why even have a debate, by the way? Why even do that? It's all just pageantry. And that's why, somebody asked me, they said, about debate and, the best way to try to sway your opponents. And I'm like, look, the opponents don't even believe in it anymore. They don't believe in it anymore. Unless you want to white-splain, to the National Museum of African American History and Culture when they say that logic and reason, quantitative analysis, all that stuff, philosophy, that all of that is whiteness. These people are checking themselves really good, by the way. They've given up on all the things that, things that are smart, things that are good, things that are righteous. In that way, I guess at least they're kind of consistent. But here's the weird thing. It's perhaps most useful, this whole concept, for corporate and financial elites who use it to distract Americans and direct their ire away from urban oligarchs like themselves toward the nebulous forces of racism. Corporate America is afraid of socialism, not of Black Lives Matter. The anti-capitalists hate the rich and the corporations. The anti-racists do not. They can readily be bought off with performative wokeness and a sprinkling of diversity hires in the C-suite. That's so true. That is so true. It's unbelievable. Thus, we find ourselves in a paradoxical position of being purportedly white supremacist, a white supremacist nation that officially sanctions and practices discrimination against white people. It's so true. You got to just look. This is such a great article. I don't know how much more I got on there. Man, there's a lot. There's a lot. You got to go and you got to read it. Oh, this is the one that talks about the numbers. Okay. By the Southern Poverty Law Center's count, there are 47 Ku Klux Klan groups in America, but their total membership is between 5,000 and 8,000. How big was Mayberry, guys? The Anti-Defamation League puts the total at 3. Wow. So let's split the difference, 5.5, right? 5,500 cuckoo crazy Klansmen in the country. At its peak in the mid-1920s, the Klan had 6 million members in a country with a third of our current population. Which would jump that number up to be equivalent would be 18 million would need to be required. We're a little bit away from that when you've got, the size of Mayberry. How many, what was the number? That's basically the number of snake handlers, guys. And they might actually be kind of an overlapping group. The serpent handlers in the United States, handling rattlers to prove they love Jesus and stuff. It might be an overlapping group. Interestingly enough, the serpent handlers are not hated nearly and decried nearly as often as the Ku Klux Klan from conservative people. I'll just finish with this. And this brings us to perhaps the strangest feature of Americans' purportedly racist society. The growing phenomenon of whites passing as non-whites. Isn't that weird, guys? Isn't that weird? It's really weird. Elizabeth Warren claims to be Cherokee. BLM Sean King claims to be biracial. And a Jewish professor of African history at George Washington University is the new Rachel Dolezal. And of course, Rachel Dolezal. Needless to say, how would you pronounce that, Afrikaner? Ever pretended to be colored under apartheid. Colored under apartheid. Where then is racism to be found in America? If it's not in its law, if it's not in its public rhetoric, if it's not in its institutions, if polls make it hard to find, after all, 87% of Americans approve of black-white marriage. You should know this because if you look up right now, tell me if I'm wrong, guys. Go look up right now. Look up happy white woman. And then look up look up this one first. Happy black woman, happy Asian woman, and then look up happy white woman. Do a Google search and look at the images. You just do it. Yeah, they approve of black-white marriage, up from 4%. Do you see the difference in that? 87%. Gallup calls it one of the largest shifts of public opinion in Gallup history. Oh, maybe it's because they're really racist. And it's the new thwavui. No, it's not, man. People are okay with you loving and marrying the person you love and wish to marry. What's wrong with you? I'm telling you, man, these people are cuckoo out of their freaking mind. When researchers asked teenagers to name the most famous Americans in history, excluding presidents, their top three picks were MLK, Rosa Parks, and Harriet Tubman. Obviously, very racist. Super duper racist. Racism everywhere, guys. Everywhere I look, it's racism. The last frontier is the end. The last frontier is now the subconscious. Because the quantity of racism is held to be constant throughout American history, the absence of racist sentiments in people can only mean that racism is in fact hiding deeper in the recesses of the mind. So when you tell somebody, I don't think racist thoughts. I don't judge people based on that. I have friends who are this and that. I'm married to someone who's this and that. My kids are this and that. My relatives, my school, my church. None of that matters because all that means is that it's gotten just a little sneakier. And it's really, really deep inside you. And we need to gut it out. And how do you do that? Well, magic crystal ball land. Magic crystal ball. And here's how they do it. Harvard University's widely touted implicit association test that everyone's latent racism can now be brought to the fore. The test, of course, reveals no such thing. A peer-reviewed study found, quote, little evidence to support its most provocative claim. And what is that? That people possess unconscious racist attitudes. Even Vox had to admit that, quote, it might not work at all. It might not work at all. Which means it's really now into the world of the voodoo nonsense. We have magic eyes, man, that can see deep down into the heart of every person based on the color of their skin. What a joke. Nuno says he identifies as an albino Eskimo. Is it true? Do you? Is it an albino Eskimo? Yeah. Going to the comment section, back talking about Hunter Biden. We're going to go to memes, guys. It's been a good time. Sorry to end off on such a serious note with this. I got, there's always like 5 articles that I can never get to. And it breaks my heart because some of those articles that I kind of push to the end, I want it to be almost climactic, right? So there's this kind of catharsis before we get to the memes. And we can do the party sounds and stuff and all super fun. But I end up never having time. And so this one was kind of a serious thing. But look, you got to go and read it. In fact, I really encourage you, read it and share it on the peculiar character of American racism. In fact, if you go to paleocratdiaries.com, I'll go ahead and put this up again. So if you go to paleocratdiaries.com, you're going to see that what I'm doing now is I'm actually putting in time-stamped links under each entry. So you go, you check out all posts, you'll see all different things that I posted. And with all of these videos, what you'll find is I take the topic or the themes that I talk about, and I copy at the time on the YouTube video, and then I put it in a link. So if you want to skip ahead to any of those, and it makes it easy for sharing. So if you say, I really liked this particular article, I like this particular story, or when Jeremiah was going off on a rant, which began right at the beginning, by the way. Today started out real fast, man. Right out of the gate. And so if you want to be able to share those, you can just share some of those. And if I missed it, because I don't want to, I'm not doing that for every single article that I talk about, but I am doing it for a number of them. And so if it happens to work out, just copy the URL that I hyperlinked, and you can share that with all your friends. But we'll do that for this. But until then, you got to check it out, amgreatness.com. And the article is on the peculiar character of American racism. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. CF says in the comments, Mr. Potato Head with 3 noses. Dude, yes. Isn't it Mr. Potato Head, dude? Isn't it Mr. Potato Head? Cherie says, and you wonder why I chose to homeschool from the get-go. Yes, man. Totally. Totally. You know, look, I don't blame. I defend in concept the idea of public schools. And I know some that I would say overall, number one, there's a lot of good people. Like I've met a lot of great teachers. I've met some really great principals. But the thing is, when it comes to the philosophy of education, which is right now critical theory, I mean, they're beholden. They've been beholden for a long time. So you get certified in your state. You get certified in your state for teaching. You've probably been indoctrinated with critical theory. You don't even know how to think outside of that frame. And you know what? Next week, because tomorrow is going to be kind of like, today's Thunderdome, okay? Today's Thunderdome Thursday. I should have said something about that. But tomorrow, you know, faith and family, man. Femininity, too. Because we got the ladies, dude. We got to throw the bone to the ladies, you know? And so, like, that's the thing, you know, but, you know, the truth is I want to be able to talk about critical theory from a more philosophical place where people can understand it. Every day, Johnny Q, Sally Sue, people, you know, who watch the show, the Elmers and the Ediths who watch the show, because, you know, I'm a man of the people. I've said this before. I'm a man of the people. And the idea is to say, look, we may talk about loftier things, heavy topics, things that are philosophical in nature. And yet the idea is to be able to make it accessible so that everyday people, even down to younger people, right, young adults, that they would be able to know how this works. Okay? So we're going to talk about that. But yes, it makes perfect sense. Nuno, in response to whether or not he identifies as an albino Eskimo, he says igloos are oppressive. All right. Speaking of something that is not oppressive, but is mega dope impressive, okay, we are going here to the memes. And I've been told I'm not allowed to show the first meme right out of the gate. Oh, I know why. Here it is. Okay, now this is the meme we ended off last time. Okay, and remember, if you want to share your memes, of course, you can share them at paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. And you can also share them by going to Facebook or Twitter, anything like that. You can send them by DM or however. And, you know, if you do share it, you may be able to find it there on the show the next day. So we're just going to go through a couple of these real quickly. But I made a big mistake. I made a big oopsie doopsie. And what it was yesterday, I hype up this meme that my wife had made. And she's a meme magician. You're going to see in a second. And you should screenshot this. Well, no. I will make this picture available with the maximum, right, pixels and stuff, so that you would be able to, it would look nice. Yeah, don't share screenshots and everything like that. You want the highest quality photo that you can. I will upload that at paleocratdiaries.com. I encourage you, download it. It is awesome. Make it the wallpaper on your phone, on your computer. Share it with your friends. My wife, this is legendary stuff. And here it is. I wish I had music, so it's like, look at this. Yeah. Oh, can I get it, the full thing? Okay, so it's got garbage, and she even put the watermark, so it's got, yep, crying paleo up there. It's got crying paleo. Wretchin' Gretchen. Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude, look at this. Look at that. Dude, she got that face so perfect. Oh, I remember when she told me she wanted to do this. She's actually working on another one right now. And we may do this like once a week. You know what I mean? Like where she gets a week and we pump out what we think is a really, really fantastic meme. Something like, we'll talk about it. You know, I don't want to commit her to something she doesn't want to do. But she's really good and she loves doing it. She'll stay up late, man. She's working memes. She's sitting there trying super hard to do this. Oh man, bro. Oh yeah, CF said don't forget super meme. Yeah, dude. I thank you for being on the ball, man. I'm really glad. I trust me, dude. As soon as the show is over, I get a phone. I get the bleep bleep bleep, right? And she just said, "You didn't share my meme." I could tell with the voice. I'm like, I'm busted. I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble, man. And because I've been hyping it. Oh, but look at that, guys. Tell me that is not just amazing. Dude, I love that. We need to do a lot more like this. But she's, again, absolutely amazing. I will share that highest quality I can over at paleocratdiaries.com. Make sure to go there. You can download it, save that picture to your computer or your phone, and share it far and wide because it is awesome. And it's got the watermark on it. It's kind of cool. Actually, does that say Paleocrat Diaries on it? I don't know. I don't know what my wife did with that. Very, very cool. Okay. On to more memes. Oh, come on. Yeah, all right. Okay. I'm hoping we don't have too many of the fat shame memes, right? Kind of thing. But we are going to work on it, guys. We are going to work on it. You know, I'm going to take my dog on a walk today. Going to lift some weights. Okay. And I'll put together my weightlifting plan because ultimately, dude, I want to look like this guy. In fact, you should have seen the thumbnail. The thumbnail is great. I think most of our thumbnails for our show are fantastic. But there's a really good one with this right here. And it even has a hooroo on it. Yeah. Yeah, this is basically how you feel when you listen to Paleocrat Diaries and then go on social media. You're like, I'm burning it down. I'm burning it down. All the bridges. This one, I think this thing's been shared a lot of times. But this is still probably, it's one of my favorite of all the Trump memes ever. I love it. It's kind of like the Emperor Trump. I like that one. I like the one where he's on the throne. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of the Emperor ones are just awesome. We need to come up with a meme for this, though. Super Friends, where, you know, if you were to put Paleocrat Diaries, if you were to put that in a list of other shows that you like with similar political or cultural or religious themes or meme reviews, don't put PewDiePie on. Put PewDiePie. We got to replace the faces with that, you know, and have Paleocrat Diaries on there too, and we're all in there. I don't know which one I would be. I'd be insistent on not being at least a couple. I might want to be, you know, Enoch Chuck, right? I might want to be old Enoch Chuck. Yeah, but not the Wonder Twins. Not the Wonder Twins. Don't make me the Wonder Twins. Oh, don't do it. Don't do it. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Breastfeeding. You're doing it wrong. No, that actually is looking like a legit way, maybe, of doing breastfeeding. Look at the kid's face, though. That kid is very confused, man. He's like, what is happening? What am I supposed to do? Oh, my gosh. Okay. What I thought parenting would look like. What it is like. Yeah. Isn't that true a little bit, guys? And ladies, isn't that true, moms? You got to give it up, moms. Is this true? You thought, you're like, oh man, when I get older, you know, I want to have kids, and you romanticize that, which is good. That's a good kind of defense mechanism, you know, against low-hanging fruit kind of thing with the guys. And so you have this idea. It's maybe a little nostalgic, but at the same time, you know, you still do it, of course, and you do a great job. But it is, honest to goodness, a little bit more like Velociraptors. Now, let's see here. What it's like when mothers are alone with their babies, when fathers are alone. Yeah, dude. Yes, man. That's true. What the heck is this? Oh, big boned. Okay, man, that's gross. I'm not sure what's down there is good. We need to stop that. Who shares these? Who makes those terrible things? It's really bad. It's a lot of ribs. A lot of ribs. What's that saying? Triumphant return. Okay. All right, I guess. What's this? Oh. What are they censoring that? What? Give a close-up of that. What's that? Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah. Faithful and true. Okay. Dude, is this a real truck? I think it's a real truck, man. It's a real truck. And it does. It says faithful and true. Yeah. Covering, because it doesn't look like he's even wearing those Conan pants. Oh, dude, no. Okay. Yeah. That is rough. Oh, that is bad. You see, that's why, guys, that's why we need to be really hardcore and vigilant about our health, because you don't want to be having feet that do that. It kind of looks like there's 2 feet. You know what I mean? Like really, really tiny feet that kind of look like Mario Brothers and stuff. And then the red ruby slippers underneath it. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's what it is. What does that say? What is that? There's no shame in being weak. There's shame in staying weak. Dude, I dig this. And look, man, I'll save that story for another time. I have a story, and I gotta be honest. I was a real jerk. I feel very, very, very badly about that. Oh, see, I love pictures like this, man. This is where memento mori, right? Remember, you shall die. It's part of this life, and saying, look at what happens in this world. Look at what happens when you die. What becomes of you? In fact, tomorrow I'm going to read a couple segments from Preparation for Death by St. Alphonsus Liguori. And it's like this. I mean, you can see they're building homes by the end. In fact, maybe an entire civilization is raised and on top of the dead. Cosmopolitan. See, I got to be able to look closer at this. What is that? Oh, no, not The Other Lover. The one on the right is talking about The Other Lover. Is it introducing, like, ugh. Yeah, and 1917 had nothing to do with that. Yeah, nothing at all. Let's skip down. Because some of these, if there's too many words, man, I got to get these as bigger without affecting the size on the screen there. Okay, Biden for president. Oh, yeah, dude, look at him. That's what? Who do I call him, man? Esther and Edith? That's Esther and Edith, man. Yeah. So Esther and Edith, they're there with old Joe Biden. How parents treated coronavirus in 1950. Oh, yeah. Here, little Johnny, smoke the cigarette. It'll work. Oh my gosh, man. Kate Lewis Hughes. Oh, she's got a question for all of us. Okay. Raise your hand if, okay, guys, pay attention. This is good. Raise your hand if you went to school for 6 years studying to become a diversity and inclusion trainer. Okay, we are moving on. Did any of you guys go to school for that, by the way? Did any of you do that? Yeah. I don't know anybody. I mean, maybe I need more of those people in my life. Probably not. No, definitely not. I don't know what I was thinking. It's still morning. Am I done with this coffee? No. Hurry. I got this one in an email based from a listener. Yeah. Big time support. Based on the yard signs I'm seeing, Joe Biden will finish in 3rd place behind Donald Trump and garage sale. Not in my area, to be frank. Right? To be frank, my area is a lot of Biden signs. Thankfully, it's kind of a, it's not spread out too far around the city. It's contained. How is adulting going, you ask? I think this one was shared with me too. I turned on the wrong burner and have been cooking nothing for the past 20 years. I did that just a couple days ago. I was cooking up some steak. I had it on, man. I've been on there for like 20 minutes. There was a piece of butter on there. And I come back like, not 20 minutes. It wasn't quite that long. I come back, 5 minutes later because it's one of these pans, nonstick pans. It takes a while to actually heat up. And I want it to get real hot, so slap that bugger on there and, So I have this butter on there. I come back and it's just nothing. And the burner behind it's like red, and I'm like, whoa, oh no. Not good, man. Not good. This sign means that your country has changed a lot lately. Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. For the good. These are people, man. These are people who know what's coming, by the way. They know what's coming with the animal uprising, and they're saying, dude, it will get to this freaky place, man. And especially with all the weird stuff going on, you know, like in Japan and, you know, all the weirdness. The robots and the animals, the dolphins. You know, now that they've figured out, you know, psychedelics, what's next? What is this? That person was either begging, well, they had to be begging for it, but what a terrible situation. Why would you even be in that situation at all? Like, oh, I'm going to go walk through here with a zebra outfit. Like, what's wrong with you, man? Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, white people stole the land. Yeah, I can't see. That means you are going to give it back? No, we're going to invite even more people. We're going to, that means, well, sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. I need a monocle, man. That's what I've been saying. If I had a monocle, I would never need to, like, you know, take it on. I could just, like, wink and hold it. You know what I'm saying? No. It means that we need to invite the rest of the world to live on your land with us. Which is what this, isn't that another one of those disconnects, guys? What am I saying? All the time. It's a disconnect between their ruling assumptions and their argument on one thing and their argument on another. And you go, blah. Your arguments suck. Like this one. My toddler started calling me a she, looking for love, not advice. My 2.5-year-old is a baby. Oh, you're already, what? A baby, okay. And I go by they, but nevertheless, we got a she in reference to me. Oh, you got a she in reference? Oh, yeah. I said they, we got to talk. Or I said, hey, we got to talk. Okay. Do you think I'm a boy or girl? Any conversation that begins, we got to talk, is the one I'm telling you, man. We got to talk. It always is this condescending thing that's like the manager from Office, right? Office Space. You're a girl. Nope, I'm not a boy or a girl. Makes me sad that even having a GNC parent, gender non-conforming parent, and being a baby doesn't stop the gender police from getting in kids' little minds. The gender police, because it's nature. It's what we are. We are a species that is a binary. Just like most everything in the universe. And just because you got a video game in the brain doesn't mean that the world is solipsistic. Maybe you should think about that. Yeah, absolutely. I believe 100% that society will collapse from climate change within 20 years. That's why my life plan is 1, live in a big city. You can put by the ocean, by the way. 2, specialize in white collar or artistic work. 3, cultivate 0 practical skills. Oh, this one's not funny. I'm just an idea. That, you know, oh yeah, that's tough. Because that guy's dead, man. That guy is dead. When Barron Trump takes office in 2050. I'll end on that. That I know that it's that lady that, you know, the googly eyeball lady, right? That I said is indicative of, you know, you're dealing with a feminist. If their eyes can get like that, and their eyes do that, feminist, you know it already. You know, it's kind of like, you know, the skunk smell, right? What skunks do. So it's kind of like that. You know, don't get that on you. People come home and you're like, dude, you got some of that feminist eyeball stuff on you. I can smell it. But yeah, but this kind of looks a little bit like, oh my gosh, Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren. I got a lot more memes, but we are out of time. I am so sorry, man. We'll do more memes tomorrow because it is family friendly Friday. It'll also be Fish Eater Friday. It'll also be Fitness Friday. And of course, Femininity Friday. We got a lot of stuff going on Fridays. They're just whatever comes up that's the same letter or sounds good. So it's been really great. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, check out paleocratdiaries.com for interviews and speeches all different stuff. You can see it all. And of course, episodes that are uploaded there later. We even have fun videos, and I have some speeches already available on there. I'm going to upload the speech that I did for Make-A-Wish, Michigan. It was a few years back, but it is excellent, and I will also be putting up other speeches in that section. I got to kind of clean it up a little bit so that the categories are a little bit smoother, because I wasn't doing this in the beginning. And so it was a completely different idea for how this would be done. And so we're going to have to do that. But make sure, paleocratdiaries.com, subscribe. It's completely free. Consider becoming a member. We're going to have amazing member content, even including, I have to do the Wolf 3D thing. Or Doom. Doom would be scarier, but Wolf 3D, because there's a lot to it. And doing a live video thing. We're going to make it so that if you have access to the link, you'll be able to watch that in real time. You'll have access to it first. And we're also working on a store, as we're working on memes, including Wretchen Gretchen. Okay, so we're going to do that. Make sure to email paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And make sure to check out my work at Paleo Cheese Podcast, including the episode I just put up yesterday. You can find that, Nerding Out in the Great Debate on role-play games. Okay, it's a lot of fun. And if you haven't seen my debate with Meaning of Catholic, you have to go to paleocratdiaries.com. I shared that just yesterday. There's no breakdown, though, of that. I don't think that I did any breakdown with different questions and stuff like that. I should, but there was a lot, man. There was a lot of questions in that time frame, and it was kind of rapid fire. And so, and I talked about a lot of different topics. I'll probably still do it. And I'll eventually just put all the breakdowns also in the descriptions below the videos on YouTube at youtube.com/Paleocrat. Alrighty, everybody. Super grateful for everything. For everything that you do. Super grateful that you help to make my day what it is. It's always a blast. I love you guys. I do. So until next time, remember what we always say here at the end. I salute. Never give up. Keep on smiling.
Ask me if I should overcome. What for?
If I don't talk into microphones, I don't make that mad cash. Making all that money. Making that mad loot, right?
Mind control.
So we see the minority elite imposing their ideology on an unwilling and resentful populace. This causes a backlash. People get ticked off. The left is working long and hard to make us feel as if we've done something wrong. Worse yet, that we are the problem. Don't let people just rip on your heritage. Don't let people just rip on your traditions. Don't let people rip on your heroes. Stand up for what you believe, what made you who you are. So unless this disenfranchised majority begins standing up for what they believe in their heart of hearts to be true, I think we'd be left with nothing more than a dirge, and maybe a funeral procession.